All right, it's a 2-for-1 week. I told you I'd come back. We're going to do chapter 10, maybe 11. We'll see how it goes. So here it is. Chapter 10. He counted 7 large number 10 cans of food, 2 of chili, 2 of beef stew, 2 of vegetable soup, and 1 fruit cocktail. There was also a bag of flour and another of sugar, but they both broken open and salt water had mixed and sloshed thoroughly through them, and he assumed that the contents were ruined. He started to throw the bags out, but he thought better of it. Even with salt water mixed in, there might be some food value left in the flour and of the sugar. That was it. No other food. And looking at the pitiful little pile on the table made it hard for David to stay very cheerful at all. The fresh water proved to be more encouraging. He located the filler cap under the front bunk cushions. When he took out all the cushions and put them topside to dry in the sun, strangely, in all of his sailing with Owen, he had never filled the water tank and didn't know where the cap was. Owen always had done that. I had always done the water before David had come on the boat. Next to the cap was a label that said the tank held 22 gallons instead of 20. He had thought it might be. And when he opened to check the water, he found that it was almost completely full. He guessed close to 21 gallons. He pumped 2 cups and drank them immediately and found the water to be pure, although tasting still of the fiberglass of the boat. No seawater had gotten into the tank in the roughness of the storm. Somewhere he had heard the normal water usage was about a gallon a day, and even at this rate, he had enough for 3 weeks, 21 days. If he rationed it to half a gallon a day, which he thought he should, he could go a good month and a half. And if he went a month and a half without seeing anybody or getting rescued, he'd be insane anyway, or he'd probably starve to death. Probably starved, he thought, and the hunger pulsed up in him again. He drank more water, 3 more cups, which seemed to help the hunger, and then he returned to work. There were what seemed to be tons of equipment. Owen had always been one for having tools, what he called gear. You've got to have lots of gear, he'd say. Gear makes it all go. Drawers with tools, winch handles, bins with anchors, not 1 or 2 of them, but with 50 feet of galvanized chain, and nylon rope for the anchors called rode, not rope, and he did not know why. Nor why they called the ropes that held the sails sheets and not ropes. Nor why they called the pulleys blocks. Ford had never told him he hadn't found a book to read on it yet. Under the left side of the forward bunk, along the edge of the water tank, there was a small but thick rod with a reel on it and heavy line, and a canvas sack with small wrapped packets of fishing lures and hooks. There was also a strange cone-shaped, extremely fine mesh net, a foot across at the mouth and tapering to a point, and perhaps 8 feet long, that made no sense to David at all, unless it was to hang things over the side to wash them or something. Under the left couch bunk, he found a deflated rubber dinghy in plastic. But there was no other survival gear, no flares, no signaling devices on the boat. Apparently, Owen had never figured on being lost or having trouble at sea. He liked to sail mostly in coastal waters, up and down the coast, to visit small California towns, and probably just hadn't thought of being out that far. There was a drawer full of small towels and wash rags and other silverware knives, the ones that had come loose and dumped everything on the floor during the storm. Every single thing was dripping. Water had gotten into all the drawers, into the storage compartments, and all the cushions, and all the sailbags. Everything was soaked. He now removed and cleaned and checked the gear. He took the wetter things topside to dry in the sun, which was now beating down on the still boat like a boiler element. Soon the frog was covered with cloth, cushions, drying sails, ropes, rags, and towels tied all to the lines that supported the mast, the shrouds and stays, and along the handrails. David almost laughed out loud looking at her. Owen would have hated it. Always liked the boat to look tight and shipshape. David had her looking like a picture he'd seen in a Chinese junk in the harbor of Hong Kong. Several families living on the boat drying their laundry on the rigging. Rag boat, he said to himself, standing in the cockpit, under a cushion draped over the boom and dripping water. The frog's just an old rag boat now. The heat dried the thinner things rapidly. However, and within the hour, the sails, towels, and two blankets were dry and folded and stored back in the boat in dry bags or drawers. The cushions, a 4-inch thick foam rubber, took longer. In the meantime, he opened up all the bins and aired them out. The inside of the frog was baking hot. He opened the forward hatch, but it didn't help because there was still no air movement. The day went rapidly as he worked. By late afternoon, all the trash was cleaned up in the plastic bag he found. He started to throw it over the side, but stopped for 2 reasons. He thought it might attract sharks, and he didn't want to do anything to attract sharks. And he thought maybe, you never know, you might be able to use it. Nothing was trash now, he thought. When he had nothing, everything was valuable. And so he kept the sack of trash. Just as evening came down, he found a package wrapped tightly in a garbage sack, tied so tightly the water didn't seep inside. It felt heavy, book-like through the plastic. The inside of the cabin was getting dark, so he took the package topside to open it, but stopped with his head out of the hatch opening. The sunset, he thought. Simply that thought. The sunset. The sun seemed to be stopped just below the horizon, cutting gold bars through the water and slashing beams of light up into the sky over his head. For seconds, a full minute, he let the beauty of the sunset flood him. His brain was blank, just pulling it all in. Then he sighed. No hunger, then no thirst, and for the first time, that beauty was in him, and there was no fear. Only the rolling seas and the bars of rich, cool light in the boat sliding up and down easily as she was meant to on the gentle swells. But in moments, the feeling was gone, and all the facts were back. He was truly alone, sitting in a small boat far out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Suddenly, he remembered the plastic-wrapped package he was holding, and he placed it on the cabin roof next to him. Standing on the top step and using the cabin as a top as a table, he carefully untied the wire twist tie at the top, and he opened the bag. Inside was a cloth-covered book, about 10 by 14 inches and just over an inch thick. And he turned it to catch the light of the sunset, and across the top, written in black marker, were the words, "The Voyage of the Frog." And beneath the title, in smaller letters, being the complete log of the good boat frog. Owen had kept the log. All this time, he had kept the log, and David didn't know of it. It was getting dark now, and David opened the cover and held the first page up to the fading light. It was dated almost a year and a half before, written clearly in Owen's small, precise handwriting. And it told of sailing for a day alone over the deep trench that ran between the mainland of California and the Isle of Santa Rosa. There had been whales feeding on plankton, and he had tried pulling his plankton cone net, but with only partial success. Not enough to try plankton burger, but enough for a taste. Plankton. That's what the cone under the net and the forward bunk with the fishing line. It was a plankton net. David knew about plankton from biology. They were also known as krill. Millions of tiny, sorry about that. Some glare on me. Millions of tiny, sometimes almost microscopic shrimp-like animals that fill the oceans of the world. He had seen pictures of them taken through a magnified lens. They looked like watery bugs. Many creatures fed on them, including blue whales, the largest of all animals, with mouths like huge strainers filled with mesh called baleen. The whales would take in a massive gulp of seawater and krill, strain out the water, and then swallow the krill. But he hadn't thought people could eat them. Plankton were so small, you couldn't clean them in any way. You just have to eat the whole thing, tiny little eggs, shells, and all, which would be kind of like eating bugs. You'd have to think about that one for a while. He was hungry, but he wasn't up for eating bugs yet. There were 7 cans of food. It would be hard to get his mind past the little eggs and shells and feelers and actually swallow a mouthful of krill. Of course, there was hunger, and his stomach was definitely moving toward his backbone, but still, bugs? He thought, actually eating bugs? Then there was the wild world. He could eat fish. The whole ocean was full of fish. And he had to do and all he had to do was catch fish and cook it and eat it. He tried to read more, but the light was almost gone. Soft darkness was coming over the sea and the boat and his thoughts. And he found 3 small fat candles and a flashlight with dead batteries. There were some matches in a Ziploc plastic bag, and he lit one of the candles and put a small saucer on the table and sat on the couch, bumping down in the hardwood plywood because the cushions were still wet at the top side to look more at the log. They were not entries for every day. It was only those days Owens had been out in the boat. Most, virtually all of the entries were just notations about sailing for the day, the direction of the wind, how long you'd been out, what the day had been like. So 4 hours, straight between mainland and island. Wind northwest at 20 knots, beautiful sun, caught north wind and sailed wing and wing for 3 hours. Oh, clearly entries were a personal record and not meant to be read by other people. David came upon a page that began, brought sugar to the board for sail out to the islands. We anchored out Fry's Cove. They left. The entry went into some detail about the 2 days in Fry's Cove, diving for abalone and lobster, swimming, nude, part of Owen's private life. David felt strange reading it, as if he were crying in somehow, but yet he couldn't stop reading it either. Finally, he closed the log abruptly and blew out the candle. In the darkness, he couldn't read and was safe from his own curiosity. With the lights out and the log closed, he realized how tired he was. He still sore from the beating he had taken. The quiet lapping of the water against the hull and the roughing thump of the halyards bumping against the mast as the boat rocked made his eyelids weigh a ton. And he leaned over the plywood bench and he fell deep asleep. The oil tanker came about midnight. Chapter 11. He felt a deep thrumming that seemed to come from the sea through the hull. It cut into his sleep until he opened one eye, closed it, shook his head, and came more fully awake. The sound was loud, almost a rumble now. A waterborne thunder that actually made the hull vibrate when he put his hand against it. For part of a second, the sound was so alien he could not place it. Then it came. Engine. Ship engines. They'd found him. He was going to be saved. Huge engines were driving the ship. Still louder now, and closer. And he rolled off the bunk and he jumped to the rear of the hatch to yell and wave. A gray wall was thundering towards the frog in the moonlight, too close. The high gray wall of steel that was the side of an immense oil tanker rumbled towards him. A rolling white rock at its bow. It's too close. It didn't seem that a ship could miss a thing. The thing was too close. It didn't seem that the ship could miss. The thing was giant, filled with a whole night horizon. It filled the whole sky, filled the whole sea. Covered with lights. It was like a city, a moving city of noise, and it was bearing down right on him. He slammed the rear hatch, ran back to the cabin, and pulled the front hatch into place. There was still no wind, so he could not hope to sail, could not hope to move the boat. He jumped back to the cockpit. Maybe if he held the tiller over, he could turn the frog. So fast, it all happened so fast. Asleep 1 second, the tanker was on him the next. The noise was deafening. Now full, corroded, throbbing roar that filled the water and the air. Flashing images, some red pain, white numbers that seemed to tower over it, high and away, the glaring white lights of the bridge. And he thought he could see small figures there, little people moving in the white lights. And then it was on the frog. Wanted to close his eyes, wanted to make it all dream, but there was no time to do anything more. The bow of the tanker reared up above him. It did not fly. It slid sideways past, above him, but past. And he thought that it could not be that big, could not be that huge, and not hit the frog. The bow wave of the tanker hit him there, a large curl of water kicking sideways from the ship. Cushions that had been topsized, draped on the handrails and boom, were knocked over the side into the water. David grabbed the tiller and tried to keep the stand aimed at the side of the tanker, but without any forward movement, she just wouldn't steer, wouldn't turn. The wave grabbed her, pushed her over until it seemed the mast sails were skidding along the surface of the water. She was surfing on her side, surfing, and at the tip of the mast, caught the water, she'd flip upside down and sink. All in one motion, she'd be gone, and he'd be gone, caught in the giant screws of the tanker, churning it into pieces. Something then came, some instant. Before, he watched the mast skid lower and still lower until he knew he had to do something. He had been holding the tiller in his stomach in reflex, and now it slammed away, pushed it far to the side of the boat and held it, leaning until it seemed it was looking straight down into the black water. And it worked. The tiller slammed over, and it caused the frog stir to give a jerk sideways. This movement, in turn, pushed the bow slightly up the wave that had forced her down. There was a whipping movement, an abrupt snap, and in a looping swinging motion, the frog slipped back, around, and up, and took the main force of the pressure of the wave from the tanker bow on. Some water splashed over the front, but no more than a few gallons, and it sluiced quickly off the sides. The frog took it easily. The tanker thundered past, slower than she would have wished, but faster than he thought such a huge ship could move. People, he thought. There were people right there. Right on the other side of that still, there were people right there. Hey! Hey! And he yelled until he could not control it. And it became a near scream, but the rumble of the tank's engine drowned out any chance his voice would carry. For a full minute, the tanker passed. So close, he thought. So close he could see the rivets on its hull and the water pumping out of the exhaust holes on the side. So incredibly close that when he looked high up on the edge of the side, he could see a single light bulb gleaming on the end of the wire. There were people right there, right there. Hey! He cupped his hand around his mouth and bellowed as loud as he could. Hey! But nobody came to the rail. Nobody heard. The stern was coming now, roaring past, and the turbulence caused by the tanker's screws bounced the frog this way and that, though not as severely as he had expected. And then it was gone. A high stern seemed to lean back over him for a moment, a long moment, and the tanker was gone, moving rapidly away. Wait! Don't go! Wait, somebody! Wait! He could see the lights of the bridge from the rear, and was now certain that he could see people, small people moving in the lights, but there was no indication anybody saw nothing. No reaction. He couldn't see. They couldn't see him. The sails were still up. They were catching the moonlight. It must be visible for miles as a white triangle against the sun. How could they not see them? No flares. If he had some flares, how could it be possible Owen didn't put flares or some other emergency light on board? Light. He needed some light. The boat battery was dead, and the batteries in the only flashlight he found. And the candle, that was it. His only light was a candle. He scrambled below in the violence of the motion of the tanker's bow wave. The candle matches had been on the table, had been thrown off. Frantically fell to his hands and knees and felt around beneath the table in the darkness, sweeping back and forth. There, his fingers hit the candle and it rolled. He grabbed for it, missed, grabbed again and caught it. Then matches. The book of matches had skidded further, near the match. He found them only when he wasted moments falling into the table to its other side. He forgot himself and jumped for the rear hatch so fast that he hit his head on the tabletop. The tanker was still near but moving away rapidly. He fumbled and dropped two matches before he struck one, held it to the wick of the candle. It lit immediately, sputtering once, then he breathed on the new flame, hot, and it flared up. He held it up, waved it carefully back and forth, and the wide arc left, right, back again. The movement made the flame flicker, but it didn't go out. He tried a wider arc, stepping sideways from one side of the cockpit to the other, moving the candle slowly over his head. The tanker kept moving away. There was no sign from the ship that they had seen the light. Please, please see this. See the light. See the candle. Please. He waved it wider and wider, and the movement blew it out. With shaking hands, he lighted it, waved it again, waved it, until the bright lights of the tanker had drawn together in the distance until there were only a blob of yellow on the horizon. He waved the candle until the lights of the tanker were completely gone over the edge of the earth, gone from his life, and his eyes were still forever. And still he waved. Slowly he waved the candle. That's chapter 11. We'll pick up chapter 12 very soon.